Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Parikshit Luthra. Here are the headlines we are tracking this evening. A sharp fall in late trade wipes out early gains on Dalal Street. Nifty gives up the 21,800 mark. Sensex declines 1% from the high point of the day. Prime Minister Modi attacks the Congress party and the opposition in Parliament, sets the tone for the upcoming general election, claims the BJP will win 370 seats and the NDA will cross 400. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman seeks Parliament's approval for a second supplementary demand for grants worth over 78,000 crore rupees for this fiscal. Demands additional funds for Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, food subsidy, defence pay, among others. Israel strikes the city of Rafah in Gaza, killing at least 30 people and levelling homes and mosques. Rafah was considered a safe city a few days ago. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken will arrive in Saudi Arabia to discuss a ceasefire deal and aid for Gaza. This is Blinken's fifth visit to the region in 4 months. Supreme Court agrees to hear Haryana government's plea against a High Court order that struck down a law mandating 75% reservation for locals in the private sector. The act applied to those with a monthly salary lower than 30,000 rupees. The state government tells the Apex Court that the High Court's judgment is not a recent one. Bharti Airtel reports a mixed bag in Q3. Margins beat estimates and revenues are in line even as profits miss the mark. Average revenue per user rises to 208 rupees. American investor Vanguard slashes the valuation of Ola's parent company for a third time in a row. The recent markdown values Ola at less than $2 billion, which is 74% lower than peak valuation of over $7 billion in 2021. Paytm shares hit lower circuit for the third straight session, wiping out over 20,000 crore rupees in market capitalization. Paytm shares are now at a record low after RBI's crackdown on the payments bank. Indigo stock kickstarts the week on a positive note. CEO Peter Elbers tells CNBC TV18 he expects to add 18 more routes in less than 2 years. Also hopes to add a new aircraft every week over the next 10 years. That's an exclusive. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi promises to remove the 50% limit on reservation and conduct a nationwide caste census if the opposition alliance is voted to power. Says socio-economic justice is the biggest issue facing the country. We will not allow democracy to be murdered like this, says the Supreme Court as it comes down heavily on the presiding officer over the Chandigarh mayor polls. Orders all the records of the polls to be sequestered under the custody of the Punjab and Haryana High Court. Indian musicians shine at the Grammy Awards. Ustad Zakir Hussain and Shankar Mahadevan-led fusion band Shakti wins in the Best Global Music Album category. Hussain wins a total of 3 Grammys. Flute player Rakesh Chaurasya wins 2. Taylor Swift's Scripps History, becoming the first performer to win the Grammy in Best Album Award for the 4th time. Let's start with the day's market action. A sharp fall in late trade wiped out all the gains on Dalal Street. Sensex lost over 300 points and Nifty lost over 80 points, ending closer to the low point of the day. The volatility index saw a sharp spike. Bank stocks were also down, even as mid-caps managed to marginally outperform the blue chips. Prashant Nair is here with the day's market wrap. All right, let's move on. India's interbank call rate has fallen below the repo rate of 6.5% for the first time in nearly 5 months. Money market dealers say this may be a sign that RBI may soften its stance in the upcoming monetary policy. Just for context, call rate is the rate at which banks borrow from one another for a one-day period. In key earnings today, telecom major Bharti Airtel has reported a mixed set of numbers in the third quarter. Margins beat expectations, revenue was largely in line and net profit missed the mark. On an annual basis, profit rose more than 82% to 2,442 crore rupees, while revenue marginally jumped more than 2% to 37,900 crore rupees. The company's average revenue per user surged to 208 rupees in the quarter versus 193 rupees year-on-year. To all the Parliament action today, the government today sought Lok Sabha's approval for a second supplementary spending allocation of over 78,600 crores for FY24. The government says it would spend the additional amount on the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, education, food subsidy and defence pay and allowances. The government sought Parliament's approval to authorise gross additional expenditure of over 2 lakh crore. Prime Minister Modi tore into the opposition parties in his vote of thanks speech in the Lok Sabha. He said the Congress party has something called as a cancel culture. He accused the party of stalling India's development by opposing the BJP government's reforms. The Prime Minister blamed dynastic politics, has forced senior Congress leaders like Ghulam Nabi Azad to switch sides. Speaking about the development work, Prime Minister Modi said the Congress party would have taken 100 years to match the work done by the BJP in 10 years.
आज विपक्ष की जो हालत होगी ना, इसकी सबसे दोषी कांग्रेस पार्टी है। कांग्रेस को एक अच्छा विपक्ष बनने का बहुत बड़ा अवसर मिला और 10 साल कम नहीं होते, लेकिन 10 साल में उस दायित्व को निभाने में भी वे पूरी तरह विफल गए। देश ने जितना परिवारवाद का खामियाजा उठाया है और उसका खामियाजा खुद कांग्रेस ने भी उठाया है। मैं आपको विश्वास दिलाता हूं कि 30 साल हम नहीं लगने देंगे। ये मोदी की गारंटी है। मेरे तीसरे कार्यकाल में देश दुनिया की तीसरी आर्थिक शक्ति बन जाए। आज भारत दुनिया की डिजिटल इकोनॉमी है, अग्रणी है। आने वाले समय में ये डिजिटल इंडिया मूवमेंट जो है वो देश के नौजवानों के लिए अनेक अनेक अवसर, अनेक अनेक रोजगार, अनेक अनेक प्रोफेशंस के लिए अवसर लेकर के आने वाला है।
And staying with Parliament action, opposition leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary accused the Modi government of financially depriving non-BJP ruled states. Finance Minister Sitharaman hit back, saying that the Union government is implementing the Finance Commission's recommendations without any discrimination.
Non-BJP ruled states are being deprived from having their legitimate due. The latest example is Karnataka, where the entire ministry has been agitating against the indiscriminate and arbitrary attitude of your administrations. After the new installation of government, because the non-BJP government has been assumed there, since then the trouble has been started on.
I don't have the right to change as per my whims and fancies, that I like a state or this state is against my party politics and therefore, no way. Finance Commission giving recommendation, that which I have to implement, it is done without any kind of fear or favor or anything like that. So this apprehension that some states are being discriminated against is a politically vitiated narrative which, I'm sorry to say, vested interests are happy to go about saying it.
And shares of Paytm's parent company 197 Communications remain under pressure after the Reserve Bank's crackdown revealed more violations. Sources telling CNBC TV18 that the RBI's inspection showed violation of KYC anti-money laundering rules and instances of false compliance reports being submitted. Speaking to CNBC TV18, SBI Chairman Dinesh Kumar Khara said that the bank only maintains Paytm's settlement account. He added that the SBI is not considering any acquisition of the company.
We don't have any such tie-up,
Okay.
and we maintain some account of theirs, and which is more like a settlement account.
Okay.
So we have no such issue as far as the Paytm Bank is concerned, or maybe its impact on the bank overall. We will certainly consider how to service such customers who are being serviced currently by Paytm, but nothing beyond that.
American asset management company Vanguard has slashed the valuation of Ola's parent company, ANI Technologies, to $1.8 billion. This is 29% lower than its previous fair value of $2.7 billion as of 31st of August. With this recent markdown, the company's fair value is 74% lower than peak valuation of over $7 billion in 2021. Here's a CNBC TV18 exclusive now. Sources have told CNBC TV18 that Hexacom Telesystems is expected to launch its initial public offer later this month. The company will be the first EV charging solutions company to go public. The company is hoping to raise more than 400 crore rupees at a valuation of nearly 1,800 crore rupees. It is expected to price the IPO at 140 to 145 rupees per share. And speaking of IPOs, a Reuters report suggests that the Hyundai company is planning an IPO for its India business. The South Korean auto giant is looking to raise at least $3 billion in what could be India's largest initial public offering so far. The fundraise would value Hyundai at up to $3 billion in India itself. This is more than half of Hyundai's overall market cap of $42 billion in South Korea. Onto a CNBC TV exclusive now. Indigo CEO Peter Elbers said he expects to add 18 more routes to the airline's network in less than 2 years. Indigo placed a record-breaking order of 500 aircraft with Airbus at the Paris Air Show last year. Speaking to me about the capacity expansion, Elbers said Indigo hopes to add a new aircraft every week over the next 10 years.
So we have a clear sight of the growth. And for the years ahead, we expect to have deliveries of one plane every week. And if you just think about that for the many years to come, each and every week, Indigo will receive a new plane. I think that says a lot about the potential, about the growth, and really going hand in hand with the growth of India itself.
And staying with Indigo, sources say promoter Rakesh Gangwal is likely to further dilute his stake in the airline. We learned that roadshows are underway to gauge investor interest. Gangwal's 150-day lock-in period for further stake sale is set to end on the 13th of February. Gangwal sold a total of over 12% stake in the last 3 tranches. He holds 25% stake in Indigo as on 31st of December. The National Company Law Tribunal is likely to hear an application by Zee Entertainment seeking the implementation of the proposed $10 billion merger agreement with Sony. This comes after a Singapore arbitration allowed Zee to plead its case before the NCLT. The arbitration rejected Sony's emergency petition for a stay of proceedings, but the arbitration will continue to hear the matter and said it will vigorously pursue the matter as well. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear Haryana government's plea against a High Court order that struck down a law mandating 75% reservation for locals in the private sector. The state government has argued in the apex court that the High Court's judgment is not a recent one. Ashmit Kumar is standing by with more on all the action from the court on this matter.
Well, here's the context to it. In 2020, the Haryana government came out with a legislation which provided for a 75% reservation across the board, even in the private sector, for all jobs that have a monthly salary of less than 30,000 rupees. Now, this was contested by the industry. They had raised big concerns with respect to existing hiring practices, with respect to finding skilled labor. All of these concerns raised before the Punjab and Haryana High Court. And importantly, last year, the High Court decided in favor of the industry and against this piece of legislation by Haryana, striking it down. The High Court had called this piece of legislation unconstitutional, void and illegal, essentially ruling that such a mandate cannot be given by the state government. It is not simply tenable with our constitutional provisions. Now, it is against that the Haryana government has challenged the High Court order and has sought to defend its 75% reservation mandate before the top court. An application has been filed. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear this application, has issued a notice to the industry bodies, has sought for their response, and importantly, will be deciding on this matter. Keep in mind, Haryana constitutes a large industrial belt with a lot of large stakeholders operating in the state. So any ruling by the apex court on the legitimacy of any such 75% reservation mandate will have far-reaching implications for the industry.
Hang on, Ashmit. Also take us through the 2 arbitration-related cases that you are tracking.
Well, 2 key arbitrations up for hearing before the apex court. The first between IOC on one hand and ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel on the other. The amount in question are claims of 8,700 crore rupees raised by IOC against ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel. Now, importantly, the relief that IOC is seeking is that let this matter go to arbitration and let the arbitrator decide the cost of this claim of 8,700 crore rupees. Now, IOC is claiming on one hand that they're raising claims for the post-IBC period for formerly SR Steel, now ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel. ArcelorMittal, however, will have none of it. They've said that any such such claims that were raised by the IOC were already dealt with under the IBC regime, and once the resolution plan has been approved, the claims stand extinguished, and therefore it is not an arbitrable dispute. Supreme Court reserving its judgment. That was the first key matter. The other one is the legacy issue, a long-standing dispute between Reliance Infra-owned subsidiary as well as Delhi Metro Corporation. The amounts in question, again, very large. We're talking in excess of 8,000 crore rupees. The arbitral tribunal had decided in favor of Reliance Infra for DMRC to pay that amount. What's important is that this was upheld by the Apex Court in 2021. The review petition of the Delhi Metro had been rejected. Now a curative petition coming up for hearing before the Apex Court. Now, counsels for Reliance Infra are livid. They will have none of it. They are arguing that there are preliminary objections. There are no grounds that are made out. Supreme Court will hear this application on Tuesday next week.
And coming up on India Business, Uttar Pradesh government's blockbuster dreams take wings. First phase of the film city will be ready in 3 years. A special report on the other side. And you can also catch all CNBC TV team's news and updates on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram and JioCinema. You're watching India Business Hour. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has promised to remove the 50% limit on reservation and conduct a nationwide caste census if the opposition alliance is voted to power. Addressing a rally during his Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra, Gandhi said that socio-economic justice is the biggest issue facing the country.
हमारा पहला कदम पूरे देश में जाति जनगणना को करवाने का होगा और हम पता लगाएंगे इस देश में दलित कितने, आदिवासी कितने, पिछड़े कितने। और एक और बात समझिए, रिजर्वेशन की बात कर रहा हूं। आजकल 50% से ज्यादा रिजर्वेशन नहीं मिल सकती। ये जो 50% का लिमिट है, इसको कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार, इंडिया की सरकार उठा के फेंक देगी।
And more national news now. The Enforcement Directorate has moved the Delhi High Court against Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal for not complying with summons issued. This is pertaining to the money laundering case related to the alleged excise policy scam. So far, the Delhi Chief Minister has missed 5 summons issued by the Enforcement Directorate over the last 4 months. However, the Chief Minister has justified his move, claiming summons are illegal. The Supreme Court has said that it will not allow democracy to be murdered like this. This after it came down heavily on the presiding officer over the Chandigarh mayoral polls. The top court has ordered the records of the polls to be sequestered under the custody of the Punjab and Haryana High Court. 3 days after taking over as the Chief Minister of Jharkhand, Champai Soren has won a floor test in the State Assembly. 47 MLAs voted in favour of the trust motion, while 29 opposed it. A special court allowed former Chief Minister Hemant Soren to participate in the vote. Remember, he was recently arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in a money laundering matter. Uttar Pradesh government is taking a blockbuster bet of 1,500 crores on an upcoming global movie hub in the Yamuna Express area of Noida. The financial bid was recently awarded to a consortium led by renowned producer Boni Kapoor and infra developer Bhutani Group. Shivani Bazaz filed this report.
Well, movie production, music production, dubbing, editing, VFX, special effect, film festivals and premiere arenas all in one place. That's what the upcoming film city in Uttar Pradesh will boast. Not just that, the project also plans to house an amusement park, hotels, restaurants, retail shops, shopping malls, service residences and commercial offices, apart from filming facilities, studios and film institution. Spread over 1,000 acres of land in Yamuna Expressway areas, Sector 21, the project will be built at a cost of 1,500 crore rupees. The dream of an international film city, the biggest in North India, is now one step close to reality, with the consortium led by film producer Boni Kapoor and infra giant Bhutani Group winning the bid for the construction of the first phase, which is likely to be completed in the next 3 years. After many rounds of screening, the project bid has been awarded to Bayview Project LLP, supported by producer Boni Kapoor and construction giant Bhutani Group. Bollywood giants like T-Series and firms backed by superstar Akshay Kumar were also running for the bid till the last round.
Bayview Projects LLP was selected as the winner based on the highest gross revenue share offered to the authority. But Bhutani Group has dreams of making the film city much more than just a film destination.
We were working on this for last 3 years, so we designed it from the point of view of 1,000 acres. And first phase will be a good balance of studio spaces and infra. We are looking forward to create, one-of-a-kind staycation destination in the country. People on their way to Taj Mahal can do a stopover and maybe stay a couple of days, enjoy the film-themed hotels. So we are bringing a luxury outlet retail station like Bicester Village and La Vie in Paris. We'll bring in Unreal Engine Studios, probably the most biggest in the world. We are finding partnerships with companies like Prime Focus, who are incubators in VFX in India.
The proposed 1,500 crore rupees film city will be situated in Yamuna Expressway's Sector 21, and in the Phase 1 development will include 75 acres of commercial use and 155 acres of industrial purposes. For the overall project, a total of 1,000 acres has been identified. Officials believe that the film city will not only make Uttar Pradesh a hub for film production, but will also lead to generation of employment and boost the economy of the state.
उत्तर प्रदेश के नौजवानों को रोजगार मिलेगा। सारे जितनी भी फिल्म सिटी है देश में, उनके साथ वहाँ पर भी हमारे जो टेक्नीशियन हैं, काफ़ी लोग इस उत्तर प्रदेश के हैं और आसपास के प्रदेशों के हैं और एनसीआर के लोग हैं। काफ़ी फिल्मों में जो काम करते हैं अभिनेता और अभिनेत्रियाँ भी उत्तर प्रदेश से हैं और आसपास की हैं। तो एक इन सबको अपने प्रदेश में काम करने का अवसर मिलेगा और एम्प्लॉयमेंट बहुत जनरेट होगा। पूरा का पूरा एक टूरिज्म का कॉरिडोर ये उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार बना रही है कि आदमी जेवर में आए, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय एयरपोर्ट में उसका अगर ले ओवर 3 से 4 घंटे का है तो फिल्म सिटी आ जाए, वहाँ अम्यूजमेंट पार्क देख ले, उसके बाद वहाँ से वृंदावन मथुरा में हेरिटेज कॉरिडोर नया डेवलप होने जा रहा है उसको देखे, फिर ताजमहल देखे।
Well, the plans on the paper suggest that this is going to be the biggest film city in North India. With this, the Uttar Pradesh government is eyeing not just big revenues, but also a place on the global film production map. With Vijay Pradeep Kumar and Gaurav Tyagi, this is Shivani Bazaz for CNBC TV 18.
All right, do catch that report on our website and also our Twitter handles. Indian musicians have shown at the Grammy Awards. Yes, Ustad Zakir Hussain and Shankar Mahadevan-led fusion band Shakti wins in the Best Global Music Album category. Hussain wins a total of 3 Grammys. Flute player Rakesh Chaurasiya wins 2. Taylor Swift, scripting history, becoming the first performer to win the Grammy in Best Album Award for the 4th time. That's it on this edition of India Business Hour. Before we wrap, we would like to thank all our viewers for your continued support and trust. CNBC TV 18 recorded the highest views on YouTube this budget day. In fact, the views CNBC TV 18 got was twice that of the competition combined. So once again, thank you for your trust. Keep it with CNBC TV 18. The news will always continue.